today I feel like making jam donuts. Now this is something that if I ask people who are gluten-free what they miss, probably one of the first things that will come up for thousands of people is donuts. And especially for us in the UK, I don't know if the rest of the world has them, but jam-filled donuts. So a donut with jam in the middle, it's the best thing in the world. So I have got a really, really good simple recipe for these. They're not fried, they're baked, and that means that they are really simple to make. They're delicious, and also not only are they gluten-free, but they're very, very easily dairy-free. They're very easily vegan actually, and they're also very easily low FODMAP. So I will show you when I show you all the ingredients how you can do this, but honestly, I think you're gonna love them. And there's also sort of things that you can do with this recipe. So you don't just have to fill it with jam. If you're not a jam fan, it doesn't matter. You could fill it with chocolate or lemon curd or apple or custard, whatever you want, you can do. This recipe is completely up to you. So yeah, I will quickly show you all the ingredients, but just before that, I just thought I'd let you know that the written recipe I will link in the description below, because obviously that makes it that little bit more easier, and some people just prefer written things. So yeah, this is how you make gluten-free baked jam donuts. They're epic. But first, ingredients. Okay, so here are all the ingredients that you'll need. Everything is really simple and things you'll probably have already at home. So firstly, I've got some gluten-free self-raising flour. I've got some butter. I have already melted it because I just did. I've got 2 eggs here. If you are vegan, you can swap these out and you can put in some aquafaba. That works really well with this recipe. Also, flax eggs work well with this recipe too. I've got some ground cinnamon because I really like the flavour in donuts. Got some vanilla, caster sugar. You could use granulated sugar if you wanted to. And then I've got some xanthan gum over here, completely optional because this flour already has it in, but this just helps with the texture to make it more like gluten, I guess. Got the jam, which I have got just a really smooth raspberry jam here. I've also got some milk here and some lemon juice because I make my own buttermilk, which is really important for this recipe, and I do that by just getting some regular milk and putting in a tablespoon of lemon juice. So you can obviously buy buttermilk in the supermarkets, it's usually got dairy in it obviously. So if you are vegan, if you are low FODMAP or dairy free, you can change this up. Just use milk that you can have and add some lemon juice, and you just leave it for about 10 minutes and it will curdle and get all disgusting looking and thick, but that is what you want. You want it to look a bit grim. Obviously I haven't done this yet. Should have done it before so I could get on with this, but yeah, you just mix 1 tablespoon of that with this, which is what I'm gonna do now, and then I can get on with showing you how very, very simple this recipe is. Okay, so as you can see, you can kind of see my milk has curdled, which has made it buttermilk. So I'm going to add that to a bowl and mix it all together with the other wet ingredients, so the eggs, the butter, the vanilla and the oil. So I will do that now. Okay, and then to a separate bowl, my big bowl, because this is what the bowl that I'm gonna add this into eventually, or literally in a second. I'm just gonna add all my dry ingredients, so my sugar, my flour, my cinnamon, and my xanthan gum. Okay, so now I want to put this into here and then mix it with my spatula. I don't do this ever with an electric whisk because you don't want to mix it very much. You want to mix it as little as possible, but just so that it's kind of combined. If there's a few lumps, it's okay. It's kind of, in a way, a bit like a muffin mixture in that you just need to keep it as minimally mixed, as I just said, because otherwise when it cooks, it'll be a lot more tough. So I'll show you that now. Okay, so that is my donut batter all ready to go. So I just need to put it into my tin now and we can start constructing our donuts, which is so simple. I say constructing, there's nothing to it. So the tin that I use for this is actually just a muffin tin. So this is 12 holes, which is about the right size for this amount of mixture. And I'm actually gonna show you 2 different ways in which you can make jam-filled donuts. So one of the ways, which I can do in like 6 of the holes, is that you put just over a tablespoon of your donut mixture into them, then put a little bit of jam and then cover it up with more of this mixture. The other way will be to just put purely just the mixture in, and then we can pipe the jam in afterwards. And I thought I'd show you both ways because people have different preferences. Some people don't like piping, some people prefer to put it in earlier, it's like all done. So I thought I would show you both ways, but either way is good. I eat them both ways and they're both really nice. They taste the same, it's just personal preference. So I am going to just spoon this into these tins, into these holes, and you will see that they will be ready to go into the oven. Hooray! Okay, so I've filled my 6 top holes, which are the ones that have the jam in. And I just wanted to say that my jam it's been out. It's a hot day and it's been in the sun. So I would recommend having your jam straight from the fridge because it's better when something's a bit firmer because then it doesn't sort of run to the edges so much. This jam is hot and, well, it's not hot, but you know what I mean. It's just a bit more runny than I would actually like it to be. So that would be my tip. So hopefully it won't affect this too much, but I thought I'd just give that as a little tip halfway through. And now I'm going to put this jam to one side and I'm just going to fill these 6 purely just with the mixture because I will then pipe into them afterwards. So it might look like I have run out of mixture, and yes I have. I have probably overfilled these a little bit too much, but I recorded this earlier. Well, I tried to film this earlier and I forgot to press record, so I've had to do it all again. So I've got some spare mixture here, which I will now add to these. It's been a bit of a nightmare of a day. Okay, so that is all of my donuts done. I must remember which ones have the jam in and which ones don't. So these ones have the jam in already, these ones don't have the jam in, so I will try and pipe them in. So I just said goodbye to my donuts, as in I put them in the oven. I told you all about what to do with putting them in the oven, the temperature and everything, and it didn't record. New camera problems. This is really frustrating. Basically what you need to do is you need to put them in the oven for about 18 minutes, 18 to 20 minutes until they're nice and risen golden. Put a skewer in and it will come out clean. And you need to put it in at 160 degrees Celsius fan and 180°C non-fan, which in Fahrenheit, I don't know what that is. I should know this now, but I don't, but I will put it in the description below if I remember. So yeah, basically I am now just waiting for my donuts to come out. So I'll do a bit of washing up and just be frustrated and scared that this camera is gonna stop recording at any moment, but fingers crossed, it'll be all right. So my timer just went ding ding ding, and that meant that these were ready to come out of the oven. So I've got them out and I've checked with my little skewer that they were clean in the middle, so they are ready and done. You'll see that there's a slight size difference. These are the ones over this side that had the jam in. These ones over this side, I'm going to pipe the jam in. So I obviously just overfilled these, which is why I didn't have enough mixture for this. This is just the sort of thing that happens when I am filming and not concentrating 100%. But they'll all be good, they'll all be fine. So what I need to do now is just leave them to cool slightly inside the tin. Also, I completely forgot to say that you need to grease this tin before you use it. So I just use some oily spray, some spray oil stuff, because otherwise they will stick badly, but a little bit of spray does the world of good. Then they can literally just come out like this. So I'm gonna leave them to cool a little bit, but not 100%. And then I will be putting on my sugar coating on the outside, which is literally just butter and sugar. So maybe I could just quickly do that now and show you. Although it's so simple, so I don't know why I need to show you. So I've melted my butter and I've got some granulated sugar here. I like granulated better just because it is like a bit bigger, the bits, rather than caster sugar, but any kind of white sugar will do, I guess. And then what I'm gonna do, I've got one that's filled with jam here already and one that isn't. Even the ones that aren't, I'm gonna pipe. I like to do this now and then I'll pipe it after they're all like sugared up. So it's really, really simple. I'll just let you watch me do it. donuts and they are nicely sugared, but I have two different types of donut here. I have the donuts that are filled with jam already because I put the jam in the tin, and then these ones don't have any jam in them at all. And that reason why I do this is just because there are different ways of doing it. So some people prefer to put it in early and then you get some jam in it. And then this way, when you do it afterwards, you have to pipe, so you need a piping bag. So if you don't have piping bags and stuff, then maybe you wouldn't want to do it this way. I find generally that you can get more jam in by doing it this way than this way. But also what you could do is you could do it this way, where you put the jam in the centre and then you can still pipe some in, but you probably wouldn't need to. But sometimes you'll find different quality jams. Some will like cook out in the oven a little bit, so you won't get quite as much jam as you might have hoped for. So either way is good, but I quite like this way, but it doesn't matter. So I thought, as I've shown you how I sort of put the jam in the centre on the baking tray with these ones, I keep saying baking tray, I mean muffin tin or whatever, you know, as I showed you how I spoon the jam in the centre and then add more mixture on top, I thought I'd best show you how I do these as well. So I've got my piping bag, which is just here, and I've just got a very random nozzle on whatever I could find. You don't want something too big, obviously. I've got just this one, little star nozzle. Okay, so firstly, you need to put some sort of hole in the bottom of your donuts so that you can get your jam in. So I mean, you can put, I use a chopstick, and you can put one in the side and just sort of squeeze it in and sort of move it around a little bit. Be a bit delicate, because obviously they are delicate. You can put it in the top, or the best way that I like to do it is I like to put it in the bottom, just because I feel like you can get more jam into it that way. So you just sort of push it through either end. I mean, you can use anything, you don't need to use a chopstick. Just sort of wriggle it around a little bit, and then you're kind of ready to add your jam. So I've got my jam in there. You don't have to be great at piping for this at all. I am not a great piper. I've just put a little bit of jam in. The jam is cold as well, because as I spoke about earlier, hot jam isn't ideal. So then you just shove this in as far as you want to go and just pipe. So I'm probably not doing this at the best angle, but you just keep piping until it kind of comes out. And obviously you will have a little sort of jammy bottom if you do it this way. That's why some people like to do it on the side, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so here they are. Now I'll show you one at a time. This one is the one that I put the jam in and then cooked it in the oven. So it's got a decent amount of jam in it, but I will show you the one where I pipe the jam in afterwards and you will just love it. Here it is. So you've got loads of jam like oozing out, and yeah, it's just exactly how you kind of want a jam donut to be. You've got this nice like sugary, almost slightly crunchy like coating on the outside. So you've got all the textures, the gooey jam, the soft yummy donut, and the crunchy sugar. I mean, it's just everything, isn't it? So I think you should definitely make these, and like even Mark, who can eat gluten, he loves these. So that to me shows you that someone who can eat gluten won't even know that they're gluten-free, which is the best thing in the world. That is what you want, isn't it? So if you've enjoyed this video and want to watch more videos like this, then click up here for my gluten-free brownies video, and click up here for my gluten-free iced buns video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!